What if somebody broke their leg for you? Just because you broke your leg and they loved you that much? What if somebody made an altar of you to pray at? Because your talent was just that immense to them? Would you be flattered? Or would you be creeped out? Now, what if I told you that these behaviors were very real, not just hypothetical questions, and that they weren't uncommon in the least? They are. So pick your job and let's look into it. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is a stan? Well, it's a term used for overly obsessive fans of celebs, and it's rooted in the song "Stan" by Eminem. That song describes the behavior often exhibited by said stans perfectly. Have you ever not cared for a popular celebrity and then been viciously attacked after? Have you ever seen someone that has? Well, if you're a sane, rational human being, you probably don't know why exactly that happened. But a stan thinks it's perfectly acceptable to harm, threaten, harass anyone who doesn't think that their god, favorite celebrity, is their life source. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well, you're generalizing, they can't all be that bad. Well, a fan is someone who enjoys someone's creations and they're not bad at all. That's perfectly fine. However, stans earn their name for a reason. Let's take a look. Jessie J is a British singer with plenty of tip-offs to her being industry controlled. Once, a fan broke her leg because she'd broken hers. The fan found her info and told her she'll do anything to be like her and sent her more stalkerish messages. The Cut for Bieber campaign consisted of teenage girls cutting themselves to get Justin Bieber to stop smoking. While it started as a 4chan hoax, it quickly picked up steam on Twitter and the debate was on for just how real it was, with some pretty convincing images surfacing. This could only be believable in the type of stan climate that we have around celebrities today. Taylor Swift had to file a restraining order on a man who'd been stalking her since 2011 and claimed they were married and he'd kill anyone who stood in his way, including her family and John Kerry. Beyonce has had the Church of Beyonce erected in her honor, with stans and even Adele openly worshipping her. It should also be noted that the behavior of the Beehive, the name of her selected stans, is notoriously disgusting. Much like the Swifters, Beliebers, Directioners, Katy Cats, Little Monsters, and more. Yes, these groups, often full of adults, even adhere to names. And please, let us not forget about Christina Grimmie's killer, who claimed he wanted to marry her, and had gone to great lengths such as surgery to alter his appearance so she'd want him. As of 2014, there had even been a claim that celebrity stalking and obsession was increasing, with plenty of crazy stories to back that assertion up. Another interesting thing is that this isn't US or UK specific. The Korean music scene is wildly popular around the world because of its attractive men and women and their talents. The Korean industry is also no stranger to Illuminati ties, as seen in various videos and photo shoots of theirs. Now, this is important to note for a theory I'm going to propose later. Right now, we'll focus on the stans. Their stans are referred to as sasaengs, which translates to private life in reference to how they invade the stars' private lives. The term is also believed to have been influenced by stan culture. Here's just a few stories if you wondered if they could compete with other stans around the world. Kim Yoo-jung was nearly kidnapped from her elementary school by a sasaeng who posed as a relative. EXO, a popular boy band, was also nearly kidnapped when sasaengs got a van that was nearly identical to their van and tried to herd them into it. Their manager realized something was up and stopped them from getting in. Taecyeon was sent a used menstrual pad and a letter written in blood that said, "You can't live without me." The Saesang later apologized while insisting she was not a Saesang. Tao, formerly of EXO, had his hotel room broken into and microphones placed around the room. A Saesang had captured him singing in the shower, among other things. The list goes on and on with no sign of stopping, unfortunately. These people are very real and very sick. However, is it that simple? We're well aware that a lot of musicians today are controlled, as is a lot of the industry. As a result, they're going to put their spin on anything they can. If you would like to go by John Todd's research, we've long since learned about the, prayers they do over their music before it's released.
But I was the managing president of Zodiac Productions. It's one of my jobs as being one of these 13 people. Thus, I got to know many of the people who produce music and sing the music and play the music that you play. Now, one of the closest friends that I got during that time that I obtained was a man named David Crosby. Crosby, Still, Nash & Young. I saw David the day before Christmas last year, talked with him. I got him away from this witch that he had with him. He told her to go shopping. We were in West Hollywood, and I was witnessing around to people I knew. We went off in this store, and we started talking. I said, "David, I'd like to ask you a couple questions." I said, "I already know the answers, but I've been gone for 5 years. I'd like to know if certain things are still the way they were when I left." I said, now I'll have to explain some of this when I'm done, because you're not going to understand it all unless you know something about music. I said, "Do they still take the master to the temple room?" Dave said, "Yeah." I said, "Do they still have the coven conjure demons into the master?" He said, "Of course." I said, "Now, I got to know something. What's the main reason for rock music?" He said, "Come on, Lance, you know what the reason is." I said, "Please, David, I don't want to guess. Tell me what the main reason is." He says, "The same as when you were in, so that we can play spells on people that we couldn't cast spells upon." I'll explain what that means in a minute. I said, "Okay, one last thing. I've been hearing that you must be an initiated witch now to get a record contract." He said, "That's right." He says, "Many of us that weren't total witches have to be witches now in order to produce music." I said, "Thank you." The master is a tape about as big as the top of this podium that looks like an overgrown 8-track that the album is cut on and is placed in a machine that produces and presses the records and the 8-tracks and cassettes that you buy. After it's been recorded, it's taken in. This is why a master is cut months in advance before it's released. On the full moon, it's taken in to a temple room about the size of this auditorium that is in every one of the major music companies, behind locked doors up in the executive offices. And it's placed on an altar sitting in the north of the room and a pentagram engraved in the floor. And 13 hand-chosen witches and wizards and a coven come in and conjure a principality or a power up, usually Regia or something like that, and order him to tell the demons under him to follow every record and every tape coming off of that master. As I tell many Christian parents, you can go home and count your kids' records, probably yours too, and count how many demons at least are there. If that's too hard for you to believe, I'm sorry. That's why they do it.
Could this be a direct result of that? Could these people be thralls to these puppets because of the energies they have allowed into themselves through their music? No, that's not to say that listening to music is evil or will possess you. I believe that if you're awake to a lot of this stuff, it won't have effect on you because it's subliminal and you can spot it. Just like in They Live. However, a lot of the world's populace is asleep, and they attend these concerts and give up their energy, as well as listen to these musicians for extremely long periods of time. This is opening themselves up to their spells without them even knowing it. I think there's something to be said for this irrational and frankly dangerous behavior we've been seeing. And I think it's, once more, something that's tied into the elite. As always, I'm open to your opinions and your thoughts, and certainly please, if you have anything to add, do so. This has been Know Our Knowledge, and I'm gonna need you to wake up.